For more, let's bring in NewsNation political contributor Denise Gitsham. Denise, good morning to you and welcome back, my friend. So, I mean, as a Republican yourself, what are you hoping the president touches on tonight? Because, you know, a lot of it still remains a mystery. The president himself even this week said, I'm going to save a lot of it for the moment. What are your hopes and expectations?
Well, I'm not really sure that he's listening to my hopes, but I think that most Americans hope. No, you know, it's funny. I haven't gotten that phone call yet. But, you know, I worked for a President George W. Bush, who was known for message discipline. And I think that what we Americans, forget about me being a Republican, Americans want to hear about things that actually impact their day-to-day life, their welfare, their well-being. And I think that, of course, he's going to press ahead with whatever is his, you know, issue of the day or issue. I guess he's been talking about this forever, so that's not even fair to say. But I think that the reason Republicans have a lot of angst about what he might say is because it's not that we don't care about election integrity. We all care deeply. 80% of Americans believe in election integrity. But it's just not the most pressing thing that we're thinking about right now at this moment, when a lot of people are feeling the squeeze on their pocketbooks and struggling to make ends meet.
Yeah, we pulled up this headline. If we had that headline, Terrell, I'd pop it up again. But this was from Politico. It said that, you know, scared, you know what, Liz. I can't say that at 6 a.m. on national TV. But Republicans brace for Trump's primetime speech. What do you make of it, of this mass reporting that he will kind of relitigate the 2020 election? And I know you and I were talking earlier about, you know, people want transparency, but haven't we had 6 years? I mean, what other evidence is there that we haven't seen yet?
You know, we heard under Biden in 2021 that there was proof of Iran getting involved and working against Trump, right, in the 2020 election. We heard about Russia going in support of Trump. So we know that there's a lot of information out there. What we haven't seen is the actual classified documents. And I think the president wants Americans to see for themselves that whether or not the outcome of 2020 can be relitigated, I mean, the president always will, he wants them to know that everything is not kosher. You know, everyone has a sense that there's something fishy with what's going on with our elections. But it feels almost like nobody really wants to get to the bottom of it. And I think that's what the president is really focused on, is saying, if we have information, let's share it with the American people and let them decide, which is honestly, it's respectful to the American people. I mean, we talk about the Epstein files all the time. Democrats so want transparency on the issues that help them or they think help them. But why don't they want transparency on the issue of the president being able to expose and declassify documents about what happened in any election?
Let me also play some sound just about tonight's speech. We just had FCC Chair Brendan Carr, who was on NewsNation's On Balance on Wednesday, and he just told our own Leland Vitter that the big three broadcast networks are obligated to air tonight's speech. Here's that clip real quick.
And anytime the president of the United States stands up there in prime time to deliver information or news or content, I think broadcasters should want to make sure the American public can see that. Broadcasters have a responsibility and an obligation to operate in the public interest.
Yeah, but I think a lot of people would argue, when it's the president of the United States, no matter what party, you know, it's newsworthy. You got to play it. However, when President Biden made his battle for the soul of the nation speech in Philly back in 2022, the broadcast networks largely all skipped it, deeming it was a political speech. So do you believe that they should air, you know, all of us should air Trump's speech tonight, or sit this one out too?
Well, I hate to make a partisan jab, but they probably couldn't understand what Biden was saying in 2022. With President Trump, you actually can. And I think that this is a really critical moment where Americans want to hear from their leader, whether they hate him or they love him. They want to hear what's going on with Iran. This is the main issue. The Iran war is driving our gas prices up. We all understand that. And so, of course, Americans are going to want to hear. I would think that all of these primetime networks, actually all the networks actually want to play this in primetime, because if they don't, they're going to lose out on eyeballs. It just seems like a good financial decision from that perspective. But, you know, we should always want to hear what the I don't think they should have not carried Biden's speech in 2022, regardless of the little quip I made in the beginning. I think we should always want to hear from our elected leaders. I mean, President Trump isn't just the president of America. He's the leader of the free world, you know, whether you like it or not. And whether you love or hate him, you should want to hear what he has to say, because it's going to determine your future.
Let me ask you, too, just real quick before I let you go. Midterms, of course, just a few months away at this point. Our partners over at Decision Desk HQ just released their 2026 midterm forecast. They gave Democrats a 65% chance of taking at least one chamber of Congress, and it looks like the House is going to be most likely. Do you worry that those odds are going to come to fruition, and do you think they're correct?
I only worry, not even as a Republican, but as an American, because I really feel like it's going to be a lot of circus sort of antics. It's going to be impeachment. It's going to be a lot of nothing getting done for Americans, which we're all tired of talking about. You know, we keep talking about how they want to throw everyone out in Washington. Well, you know what? There's a reason. It's because we're so focused on the politics that we've forgotten about the people. And I think that that's the biggest concern with a split chamber. And it's also the concern with our electorate. Look, we're voting people who are running on anti-Trump messages but don't really have a vision. That's the problem with the Democrats. That's what Senator Fetterman said yesterday. That's what Senator Chris Van Hollen said at that summit, which was so well done, by the way. Kudos to all of you, because it was an exceptional summit. And both of them said, look, we need a better message than being anti-Trump. And yet, if that's what you elect in November in the House, you know, if you get a bunch of Democrats in, guess what the message is going to be for the next 2 years? Yeah. It's just going to be about investigating Trump. You know, Trump's horrible. And what for? He's going to be a lame duck by then. And so it's just a waste of 2 years of getting things done for the American people. And I can tell you, as someone who no longer lives in the Beltway, just happens to be here today, that we're tired of it.
Yeah, you officially left. Denise Gitsham, thank you for your time this morning, and we'll check back in.